When I found out I was the evil ex-wife of the novel's male lead, I was grilling Ashton about when he'd be back. He simply replied coolly soon. I stared blankly at the scrolling comments on my screen. Oh my god, the female side character is such a control freak. How can the male lead stand her? He wouldn't have married her if she hadn't blackmailed him with that favor. Exactly. He'll realize he repaid the wrong person soon, then it's a full-blown chase for the wife. Haha, let the female side character keep messing up. She'll end up on the streets after the divorce. I looked down, slowly typing. It's fine. No rush. It's okay if you don't come back. Ashton didn't reply again. I took his silence as agreement and turned off the living room lights. Back in the bedroom, I prepared for sleep. I used to be so accustomed to Ashton's presence that I couldn't sleep without him. So every night, I'd wait for him to come home, then snuggle up with him. Even when he traveled for work, I insisted he return within 3 days. Otherwise, I demand to go with him. My reputation for being jealous was well known, but those scrolling comments had just dropped some vital information. First, Ashton was the male lead, and he would eventually divorce me, the evil ex-wife. Second, our family would go bankrupt, and I'd end up on the streets. If those comments were true, it was terrifying. I'd lived a privileged life for 26 years. Poverty was absolutely out of the question. But our family business had always been stable. What could possibly cause its downfall? I couldn't wrap my head around it. Lost in thought, I drifted off to sleep. In a haze, I heard faint rustling sounds. A warm chest pressed against my back. The dinner was important, so I couldn't leave early. I bought your favorite green bean cake. Don't be mad, okay? Having just fallen asleep only to be disturbed, I mumbled a few and sank back into slumber. The person behind me suddenly fell silent. Then, a finger gently pried open my eyelid. He made sure I was truly asleep. The man behind me quietly teared up. Didn't you say you could only sleep well with me beside you? The next day, I slowly woke up. Ashton was already dressed and ready to leave. Perhaps the appearance of those comments had scared me so much it cured my insomnia. I didn't even know when he come home last night. Ashton was fastening his tie in front of the mirror. He stood tall, his face as serene as jade, but his expression was as cool as ever. I used to think he was just cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Now, it seemed he was probably just cold towards me. Breakfast is ready. Remember to eat it while it's hot. Normally, if Ashton hadn't come home early as LD demanded, I would have given him the cold shoulder and thrown a fit. But this time, my attitude was unusually pleasant. Got it. Be careful on your way out and stay safe. Ashton's body stiffened. He said, I'm going on a business trip. My flight is tonight. He turned, staring at me, and added, about a week. I was a bit bewildered. What was that sudden outburst about? My attitude was perfectly nice just now. At that moment, the comments reappeared. The female side character's passive aggressiveness successfully annoyed the male lead. LOL. I felt a pang of reluctance. But thinking of those comments, I forced a smile. It's okay. Business trips are normal. Have you packed your things? If not, I can help you. Ashton's face completely darkened. He said coldly, no need. It's all packed. With that, he pulled a small suitcase from the bedroom doorway. As he was about to leave, Ashton turned back, glancing behind him. I asked thoughtfully, did you forget something? Ashton ignored me and left. I was a bit bewildered. What was that sudden outburst about? My attitude was perfectly nice just now. At that moment, the comments reappeared. The female side character's passive aggressiveness successfully annoyed the male lead. LOL. Hope their relationship breaks up quickly. I really don't want to see the male lead's romance with her. When will our female lead make her appearance? I blinked. So, my politeness was interpreted as passive aggressiveness by both the comments and Ashton. After breakfast, I was still bothered by the thought of bankruptcy. So for the first time in ages, I went to the company. I actually had shares in the company and was officially listed as a manager. But since I wasn't really interested in real estate, I'd only shown up a few times and never returned. I swiped my card and went straight to the CEO's office. My brother, Julian, was engrossed in his work at his desk. Upon seeing me, he seemed surprised. Well, a rare visitor. What brings Manager Sterling to the office for an inspection? I roll my eyes. Can't I just drop by when I'm bored? My brother pushed up his slipping glasses. What's up? Arguing with Ashton? No. Our relationship. Thinking of the comments, I sheepishly added the latter half of the sentence. Is just fine. Oh, by the way, bro, how's the company doing lately? I still couldn't resist asking. My brother shrugged. Thriving under my leadership. Don't worry, your year-end bonus won't be small, so stop fretting. I genuinely knew nothing about the company. I couldn't just magically reverse things like in a TV show, even with foreknowledge of the future. So I could only subtly hint. Then be careful when developing projects or negotiating partnerships. Always prioritize stability. Wealth comes from stability, understand? My brother, annoyed by my chatter, promptly kicked me out. If you have nothing to do, just wander around the company. Don't bother me while I'm working. I slinked out of the CEO's office. As I was heading to a spa appointment, I ran into a girl who was completely drenched. She was dressed in standard office attire, a white blouse and a black skirt. But because her blouse was soaked, it clung to her, revealing her undergarments and making her look quite disheveled. I frowned. It was a perfectly sunny day outside. Her being drenched like this clearly meant someone had thrown water on her. What era was this? Workplace bullying was still happening. And in our company, no less. No wonder we'd go bankrupt later. Maybe this was the catalyst. Thinking of this, I immediately took off my coat and draped it over her. Are you okay? You should change your clothes. You might catch a cold. The girl looked startled and quickly shook her head. I'm fine. I'll just go to the restroom and dry off with paper towels, then put my jacket back on at my desk. I disagreed. No way. Wearing wet clothes is so uncomfortable. I suddenly remembered the company had always provided me with an office. There should be some of my clothes in the resting area. I have spare clothes. Come with me. I took the girl's wrist and led her to my office. Luckily, we were about the same size. After changing and blow-drying her hair, the girl quietly thanked me. I reminded her. The company has a zero-tolerance policy for workplace bullying. You can report it to HR and they'll handle it. I didn't plan to directly intervene. After all, standing up for oneself was important. Just as I was about to leave, someone tugged at my coat. Alara, do you still remember me? The girl's eyes were gentle, yet her gaze was resolute, holding a sharp edge of defiance. The face before me gradually merged with the one from my memory. Amelia? I asked, a little surprised. You've changed so much, I barely recognized you. Amelia had always been quiet and unnoticeable in high school. I remembered her for two reasons. We were in the same class, and her name was unusual, evoking the strength of steel. The other reason was that she consistently ranked first in our grade. Even Ashton couldn't surpass her. Amelia's lips curved into a smile. You're still the same, but your aura is even stronger. I didn't even dare to approach you. Thank you for helping me today. The comments flashed onto the screen at just the right moment. Wow, our female lead is here. What's going on? The female lead and side character met early. The female side character is so annoying. Why meddle? Amelia was clearly collecting evidence of being bullied and was about to report it and resign. Exactly. Amelia reported it to no avail, then resigned, and went to work at the male lead's company. Then the male lead heard about her experience and stood up for her. What a satisfying plot. Yeah, and the female side character could have solved it with one sentence, yet she fakely advised Amelia to report it. I think the person above is being a bit much. Even though the female side character is annoying, she really did help the female lead this time. A gentleman judges by actions, not intentions. And help is help. Why complain about not helping all the way? This tells us not to casually help others, because you never know when you'll be morally blackmailed. The comments were in a furious debate. I felt a sudden realization. Indeed, strong protagonists, a long-awaited reunion A. Broken mirror mended. Amelia and Aston fit the bill perfectly. So this was the female lead the comments were talking about. Amelia tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear. It's almost quitting time. To express my gratitude, let me treat you to dinner. I quickly waved my hand. It was nothing, really no need. No, I insist. It's important to show gratitude. Please give me a chance to thank you. In the end, Amelia and I had dinner together. We also exchanged contact information. Amelia said she'd lost her old phone, so she had a new social media account. When I got home, she kept messaging me, asking if I'd arrived, and reminding me to get some rest. After our chat, I collapsed onto my bed, letting out a long sigh. Was the cool, distant top student from my memory actually a chatterbox? I was truly helpless against someone so naturally outgoing. I felt like all my energy had been drained. Ashton was away on a business trip for almost a week. In the past, I would have bombarded him with calls and texts, satisfied only when he answered and replied instantly. But this time, I decided not to bother him like before. After all, I couldn't let my relationship with Ashton get too strained. If our family really did face bankruptcy, maybe he would extend a helping hand, considering I'd been well-behaved lately. Actually, I wasn't always so dependent on Ashton. Ashton first came into our lives during our freshman year of high school. His father, our family's driver, had lost the use of a leg saving my dad. My dad arranged for the best doctors to treat Ashton's father and promised he wouldn't have to work again, his salary paid as usual. He even brought Ashton to live with us, sending him to the same prestigious school as me, ensuring he received the best education. Initially, I was indifferent. After all, he was just a driver's son. How would he affect me? Growing up, I was always the most pampered in our family. But after Ashton arrived, my dad's attention shifted to him. Because of Ashton's excellent grades, my dad often told me to learn from him. Over time, I started to resent him. I'd find ways to tease and order him around. But Ashton would just silently endure it, never complaining. The turning point happened during the summer of our sophomore year. I went shopping and made Ashton carry my bags. On the way back, we were kidnapped. It was my first time experiencing anything like that. I was terrified. In the darkness, Ashton squeezed my hand, whispering reassuringly, "Don't be scared. I'm here." The kidnappers were after money. While our lives weren't at risk, we couldn't escape some rough treatment. Each time, Ashton would shield me tightly. During that period, we were each other's only support. Only when Ashton told me not to be afraid could I manage to close my eyes. In that small, dark room, the only thing that brought me comfort was Ashton's unique scent. After we were rescued, I completely changed my imperious attitude towards him. I began to stick by his side, never leaving him. Ashton didn't show any affection for me, but he didn't reject my closeness either. I assumed he was just naturally aloof and didn't mind. Having been spoiled and willful since childhood, I wanted to find someone easy to manage for marriage. Ashton was always compliant with me, readily agreeing to every request I made. So on a whim, I asked him to be my boyfriend. Ashton said yes. My family didn't expect me to inherit the business, they just wanted me to be happy. Moreover, they knew Ashton inside and out and trusted his character. We were a good-looking couple, and we had our family support. After graduating from college, we smoothly got engaged and married. Before the comment appeared, I had always believed that Ashton and I loved each other unexpectedly. The comments claimed Ashton had agreed to marry me because I had taken credit for a favor. What favor did I take credit for? Before I could figure it out, my phone dinged. Thank you, Alara. I figured it out. I'm going to report it to the company tomorrow and punish those wicked people. I quickly grabbed my phone and messaged my brother. I told HR to deal with the matter seriously. This matter must be taken seriously. Don't dismiss it as a small thing. A tiny leak can sink a great ship. Even a small matter can ruin our company. 10 minutes later, my brother sent 3 messages. Have you lost your mind these past 2 days? Also, if your English isn't good, don't misuse idioms. It's a tiny leak can sink a great ship. I was initially uneasy about Ashton's absence, but Amelia was incredibly clingy. She'd message me whenever she had free time. Weekdays were fine, but on weekends, she'd constantly share abstract videos. I'd laugh hysterically, completely forgetting about Ashton. It wasn't until Ashton returned home, bringing with him the chill of the outside, that I remembered. Today was apparently the day his business trip ended. I hadn't forgotten my plan to improve my relationship with Ashton. I quickly expressed my concern. You're back? Was the business trip tiring? Go take a hot shower and rest. Ashton rubbed his temples. Sorry, I've been so busy these past few days. I forgot to bring you a gift. Previously, I had demanded he bring me a gift from every business trip, calling it a surprise. Now, of course, I wouldn't make such demands. It's okay. You are my most important gift. After saying it, I almost gagged myself. Ashton probably felt disgusted by me too. He turned and went into the bathroom. After turning off the lights, Ashton, uncharacteristically, spooned me. I couldn't resist the temptation, and we got intimate. Just as things were getting heated, my phone suddenly chimed a few times. I quickly grabbed it. It was Amelia, of course. She knew I usually went to bed at 10:30 p.m., so she wouldn't message me after that. But before 10:30, if I didn't reply to her within 5 minutes, she'd dramatically lament whether I'd found another dog friend. I was searching for the perfect emoji to reply when Ashton murmured by my ear, "Whose message is so important?" I felt both troubled and sweet. A new friend I met recently. She's very clingy. Ashton paused, then asked, "He is very clingy?" I was oblivious. "Yeah, I'll introduce you to sometime." Ashton let out a cold laugh. "Would it be appropriate for us to meet?" That's when it hit me. They were the male and female leads, destined for a reunion. If I interfered, the comments would accuse me of meddling. No, probably not. I nodded. Ashton's face suddenly drained color. He rolled over onto his side of the bed. I was a bit confused. What's wrong? Nothing, just low blood sugar. I'll be fine after a bit of rest. I thoughtfully turned off the light. Then, let's get some rest. Ashton covered his eyes with his hand, muttering. You clearly said you don't like clingy people. I was too busy trading emojis with Amelia to hear him. The next evening, Ashton attended a dinner party. It was well known that he never had female companions by his side, and his phone was never on silent. Because I would conduct surprise checks. But tonight, Ashton's phone remained completely silent. Someone observant noticed and quipped, Mr. West and his wife had a fight? He's not even checking in anymore. If I were Mrs. West, I'd check in too. Mr. West is so handsome after all. Hearing that, everyone chuckled knowingly. After all, Aston had started his business with the Sterling family's initial capital. Many people behind his back called him a kept man or a henpecked husband. A busybody said, "Since Mrs. West isn't checking in, how about we go have some fun later?" Exactly, Mr. West never joins us for after-dinner activities. As they chatted, a CEO's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, pulled a long face, and answered. "Got it, almost done. I'll be back soon. Don't bother me. Hang up." After hanging up, he complained, "All day long with these check-ins. Never anything important. You guys go have fun. I have to head back." Everyone understood. The same person then asked, "Mr. West, what's your plan?" Just then, Ashton's alarm went off. He picked up his phone, his expression unchanged. "Almost done. Yes, I'm heading home now. Got it. I'll bring you your favorite green bean cake." After putting down his phone, Ashton managed a helpless smile. "I probably can't go. See? She's rushing me home again." The others were already used to it and didn't try to stop him. Ashton had his driver make a detour. He went to the shop in the west of the city and bought freshly baked green bean cakes. However, only an empty, dark house awaited him. Meanwhile, I was at Amelia's place. After learning Ashton was at a dinner party, Amelia enthusiastically invited me over for dinner, saying she'd show off her cooking skills. Amelia was very good at making a home. Although it was a rented apartment, she had decorated it to feel very lived in and cozy. Her cooking was absolutely superb, especially her sweet and sour pork, which was so delicious I almost swallowed my tongue. Amelia watched me, smiling. "Eat slowly, no one's going to snatch it from you." After dinner, we played Switch. We got so caught up that we lost track of time. It wasn't until Ashton called me that I realized it was already 10:30 p.m. I answered the phone and Ashton asked, "Are you coming home tonight?" I couldn't tell if it was my imagination, but I detected a hint of resentment in his voice. It was as if he were the husband left alone, and I was the unfaithful wife out having a wild night with some little vixen. Amelia mouthed, "Sleep over at my place. We can go to the amusement park tomorrow." I was tempted. "No, I guess not. My friend and I are planning to go to the amusement park." Ashton's voice dropped a tone. "Is it that friend you mentioned last time?" "Yes," I said. Fearing he might misunderstand, I decided to let them meet early. "You know her, she was our classmate in high school. Amelia, do you remember her?" Ashton pondered for a few seconds. "Was she the top student in our grade back then?" "Exactly, that's her." Ashton sighed with relief, his voice becoming lighter. "I have some impression of her. You two go have fun. I'm not busy tomorrow. I can pick you up after you're done playing." After hanging up, I explained to Amelia. "I kept forgetting to tell you, my husband is Ashton. We never talked about our romantic lives before, so I didn't mention him. Do you still remember him?" Amelia shrugged. "I know. You two sent me an invitation when you got married. But I had something going on with my family then, so I couldn't make it." The long absent comments reappeared. How can the female side character be so scheming? She deliberately became good friends with Amelia, then revealed Ashton was her husband. Out of decency, Amelia wow'd definitely not steal the male lead from her. Exactly, and she deliberately made HR seriously deal with the workplace bullying, so Amelia had no reason to resign, which would prevent her from meeting the male lead. Poor Amelia, her sincere heart being exploited. The male lead just said he'd pick them up after they're done tomorrow. Just watch, the female side character will absolutely prevent them from meeting. Right, Amelia is so excellent. Ashton will instantly know who's the real gem compared to the fake one. Just then, Amelia brought up what happened recently. The colleagues who bullied me were all fired from the company. Thanks to you, this matter was resolved so quickly. I smiled sheepishly. My brother told me you provided a lot of evidence of the workplace bullying. Those people couldn't deny it and had to accept the punishment. Even without me, you would have handled it perfectly. Amelia hugged my arm, resting her head on my shoulder playfully. "No, without you, I might have chosen to go all out, report them, and just resign. Actually, I really didn't want to leave Sterling Corporation. The environment and benefits are great here, except for a few idiot colleagues." I burst out laughing at her words. After the amusement park, we went to a nearby mall for afternoon tea. After much internal debate, I decided to let Ashton pick us up. If it was true, as the comment said, that I had taken credit for a favor, leading Ashton to misplace his gratitude, then they should reunite and clear up the misunderstanding. Ashton parked the car by the roadside and walked toward us. I subtly observed for any sparks flying between them. The comments began to excitedly scroll. Our male and female leads are finally meeting. They look so good together, a perfect match. The female side character next to them is a bit of an eyesore. But they merely exchanged cool greetings. Then, Ashton looked at me. "Mom and Dad said we haven't been back in a while. They want us to come home for dinner tonight." The mom and dad Ashton referred to were my parents. His own parents had passed away long ago, and after we married, he started calling my mom and dad. I thought for a moment. It's true, it's been a while since we had dinner at home. Let's drop Amelia off before heading to the old house. Amelia waved me off. "You go home. Don't worry about me." I still had to go back to the office to work overtime. I frowned. "They make you work overtime on your day off? Who's the boss? I'll talk to them." "No, don't." Amelia quickly stopped me. "Overtime on a holiday means triple pay. I love overtime." When I sat in the passenger seat, the comments were still filled with disappointment. What's going on? Why is the male and female leads reunion so uneventful? Didn't they say the male lead secretly admired the female lead in high school? Don't worry, sisters. They're just being constrained by their identities now. The male and female leads aren't like the female side character. They have moral boundaries. Their relationship will truly develop after the female side character thoroughly messes up and the male lead divorces her. That's what they say, but something still feels off. After that meeting, neither Ashton nor Amelia showed any unusual behavior. The comments hadn't appeared for a long time. Sometimes I wondered if it was all my imagination. One day, I woke up, ready for breakfast. I found that Ashton had left behind a very important document. I messaged him to ask, but he didn't reply. Fearing he might need the document, and having nothing else to do, I decided to deliver it and treat myself to a full body spa afterward. Ashton's office was on the 16th floor, with an exclusive elevator that had my fingerprint registered. I went straight to his office after entering the building. Just as I was about to knock, I heard his impatient voice. "What is it? Say it quickly, I have something else to do. Soon." I was wondering who Ashton was talking to when the comments provided the answer. Here it comes, my favorite plot. The female side character's stolen favor is exposed by the female lead, giving her a huge slap in the face. The male lead will definitely divorce her after finding out the truth. Even though I don't know why the face slapping scene came early, I'm still so happy. The female side character is finally going offline. I want to see some sweet romance. Amelia's voice came through. "You married Alara to repay her for saving you back then, didn't you?" "Actually, in our senior year, when you were surrounded by thugs and bleeding unconscious, I called the police and scared them away. After the thugs left, I went to find someone to help you. By the time I got back, you were already gone. Then I heard you were severely injured and unconscious, and Alara saved you and took you to the hospital. So, The comments saying I'd taken credit for a favor were referring to this. In our senior year, Aston had somehow offended someone and was ambushed by thugs, beaten severely. When I arrived, he was already unconscious, so I quickly called an ambulance. The doctor said if he had been brought in any later, his life might have been in danger. When he woke up, Aston asked if I had saved him. I simply said, you saved me once during the kidnapping, now I'm returning the favor. But how was I to know that Amelia had been there before me, scaring away those thugs? What kind of taking credit was this? Wouldn't taking credit imply knowing the situation and intentionally hiding it? But I had no idea. My heart was heavy. Silence fell in the office. Aston asked, what do you want? Amelia smiled. I know you're someone who repays kindness, so I want you two to get a divorce. You're not good enough for Alara. My mouth hung open in surprise. Wait. Why was the plot developing like this? This was completely different from what the comments had told me. Amelia continued. Isn't your relationship with Alara just because the Sterling family can provide a boost to your career? Alara is such a pure person. You don't deserve her kindness towards you. Aston rubbed his temples. You might have misunderstood something. I won't divorce Alara. Amelia frowned. Why? Aston said, without hesitation. Because I love her. No matter what you've misunderstood about me, I won't get a divorce. Also, I'll investigate what happened that year. If you truly saved me, then consider it a favor I owe you. Other than divorcing Alara, I can agree to any other condition. Amelia didn't believe him at all and snorted coldly. Fine, then give me your company. Ashton thought for a moment. Okay, if you really want it, once I've investigated thoroughly, we'll do the equity transfer. Amelia was so choked she couldn't speak. You just wait. I'll expose your true colors to Alara. Fearing they would discover me, I left and went downstairs. As soon as I walked out of the company building, Amelia's call came in. Alara, are you free now? I'd like to treat you to dinner and tell you something. Amelia invited me to a popular influencer restaurant that LD mentioned wanting to try. I was surprised she remembered. I expected Amelia to get straight to the point, but instead she brought up something else. Alara, I need to tell you something very serious. A few days ago, some important documents were leaked from the company. I was working overtime that day and noticed someone acting suspiciously. That person was the HR manager. I suspect he's involved in the leak. But because I don't have concrete evidence, I'm afraid of scaring him off, so I can only tell you. My heart clenched. Could the bankruptcy mentioned in the comments be related to an insider in the company? I'll tell my brother right away and have him investigate this thoroughly. I was touched. Amelia, you're too good to me. I'm really lucky to have you as a friend. Amelia smiled. I'm glad I could help you. Actually, us becoming friends is the greatest luck for me. I don't know if you still remember helping me in high school. I helped Amelia? No, I don't think so. I thought hard but couldn't recall anything. High school Amelia was quiet and reserved, often sitting in the front row, intently listening. Ashton, on the other hand, had participated in competitions with her, but I had no interaction with her at all. Amelia smiled sweetly. It wasn't a big deal, really. I got into our school as a special recruit because of my excellent grades, so a lot of people looked down on me. One time, I bought a hair clip with Min Min printed on it after someone found out. They mocked me for being poor and not even knowing my Yumiu. You happened to be nearby and said, so what? I don't know it either. Is it famous? Thanks to you, my self-esteem was very strong back then. If you hadn't helped me out, I would have struggled internally for a long time. I racked my brain for a long time, finally unearthing this tiny incident from a dusty corner of my memory. Honestly, I didn't even remember who was being mocked back then. I just thought their sense of superiority was unwarranted. It was just a hair clip, wasn't it? The blame should fall on the sellers of counterfeit goods, not on consumers who unknowingly bought them. And I genuinely didn't recognize the supposed brand name. Season's clothing, bags, and jewelry were always delivered directly to my home. I couldn't be bothered to distinguish their brands. Amelia seemed lost in sweet memories. And that time when I had period cramps, the gym teacher said I was faking it and insisted I go to the restroom and check. You impatiently said, teacher, just because you're past menopause doesn't mean you can forbid others from having their period. When Lucas said he had hemorrhoids, why didn't you make him drop his pants and check? This incident, I truly had no recollection of. However, I detested our high school gym teacher. Despite being a woman, she was always pleasant towards the boys, granting them leave for any flimsy excuse. But with girls, she'd nitpick every reason for absence. If it weren't for her reaching retirement age, I would have had the school fire her long ago. It's normal that you don't remember. These things were just small matters to you, but they've always warmed my heart. I was really happy to see you at the company that day. It took me a long time to gather the courage to talk to you. Amelia squeezed my hand. So, I truly wish you well. Alara, divorce Ashton. He's only with you for the money. I calmly said, oh. The comments were scrolling frantically. What's going on? The plot is starting to go off the rails. Shouldn't the female side character be threatening the female lead to leave the male lead? Yeah. Why is the female lead now saying the male lead is a gold digger and telling the female side character to get a divorce? Is it just me, or do I want to secretly ship them? P.S. Friendship only. I have a feeling the female lead's next line is, leave him and be with me. The female side character is so cunning, she's got both the male and female leads wrapped around her finger. Wait, this is different from what the recommendation blogger said. Are you also here because of the recommendation post? Sisters, I know why. The recommended post was for a pirated novel. It's been confirmed as plagiarism. What we're reading now is the original. Amelia, seeing I didn't believe her, immediately got agitated. You don't believe me, but I can see the comments. As she uttered that sentence, the comments suddenly vanished completely. I rubbed my eyes confirming the comments were gone. Amelia continued to explain. The comment said that Ashton and I are the male and female leads, and you're the evil female side character. If you continue to be with him, your family will go bankrupt. Your family funded his education and supported his startup, then your family goes bankrupt, and he not only doesn't help you, but divorces you. Isn't that the typical gold digger scenario? I interrupted her. I know you're in a hurry, but don't be in a hurry yet. Can you still see the comments? Amelia looked up at the air. After a moment, she turned back to face me. So, you can also see the comments? I nodded. The comments just said that what they thought was the plot was from a pirated novel. We're probably reading the original, right? Amelia's mind was a bit muddled. Is that how it is? I thought for a moment. I just want to ask you one thing. The comments said you two had a crush on each other in high school, but separated due to real-world reasons. Is that true? Amelia immediately retorted. How could that be? I was busy studying every day in high school. I had no time for romance. I only had a crush on good grades, and the school's prize money. I breathed a sigh of relief. Doesn't that prove that the comments were wrong from the very beginning? Amelia quickly sorted out the logic and laughed. That's great. I'm not the female lead, and you're not the evil female side character. We're just us. The truth quickly came to light. The HR manager was not only bribed by a rival company to leak confidential documents, but he also embezzled public funds and evaded taxes. Once the matter was investigated, he was promptly sent to prison. And I, in turn, reverted to my usual clingy self with Ashton. Occasionally, I still felt a little worried. Won't you get annoyed with me constantly bothering you every day? Ashton subtly tightened his arm around my waist. How could I? Actually, more than you needing me, I'm the one who needs you to cling to me. Epilogue. Ashton's perspective. When I was very young, I had a happy childhood. My father drove trucks then. My mother was a stay-at-home mom who took care of me. Although we weren't wealthy, our life was full of joy. Later, my father became a driver for the Sterling family. He saw a wider world, earned more money, and came home less and less. My mother cried and told me he had another woman. I wish my father couldn't drive anymore. That way, he wouldn't leave, and he could focus on our home. Unexpectedly, my wish came true. There was an accident that day. My father, saving his employer, suffered a severe leg injury. Although he received the best treatment, he still ended up with a limp. The woman my father was seeing, fearing she'd be tied down forever after he was injured, immediately left him for another man. My mother tirelessly nursed him in the hospital. Mr. Sterling was a grateful man. To repay my father's kindness, he gave a large sum of compensation and promised to pay his salary for life, even though he couldn't work anymore. He even brought me to live with his Sterling family, so I could attend a prestigious school and receive the best education alongside his daughter. That was the first time I saw Alara. She was dignified, proud, and beautiful. Having been woken up from her sleep, she seemed a little annoyed. When Mr. Sterling introduced me, she merely glanced at me coldly and said, "Oh," but I instinctively held my breath. So, this is what love at first sight feels like. I knew there was a world of difference between us, so I suppressed those feelings deep inside. After his leg injury, my father didn't have to work, but his temper worsened. His most common phrase was, "If I hadn't sacrificed so much, would you have the good life you have today?" Being idle at home all day, he took up drinking and gambling, and even became abusive after drinking. My mother kept it from me, always saying my father treated her well, until I accidentally saw the bruises on her arm. I immediately went to confront him, but my mother stopped me. She said my father was just in a bad mood because of his injury. I wanted them to divorce, but my mother refused. At her age, she only wanted to stay with my father and live her life. But my father grew worse. My mother finally gave up on him completely. She agreed to divorce him after my college entrance exams. I was overjoyed, imagining that after her divorce, I would rent a place near my university and slowly earn money to give her a good life. However, fate always plays cruel tricks. My mother was diagnosed with late-stage cancer and passed away shortly after. Her entire life, she revolved around her husband and son. She barely lived for herself. I fell into immense pain. For a moment, I didn't know what the meaning of my existence was. Was it just to bring suffering to my mother? My mother's death did not awaken my father. He redirected his anger onto me. Every time I came home, he would throw things at me. He'd point his finger and yell, "It's all your fault, you jinx. If I hadn't wanted to earn more money for you, I wouldn't have become a driver for the Sterlings, and I wouldn't have a limp. Now, even your mother is dead because of you." I walked out of the house, head bleeding from a thrown object, my face devoid of emotion. A light rain was falling. I thought maybe it would be better to just die. Just then, my phone suddenly rang. It was Alara. Ever since my mother passed away, she hadn't bossed me around in a long time. On the phone, her voice was soft, as if she had just woken up. "Ashton, when are you coming back? When you do, can you grab some green bean cake for me?" I heard myself say softly, "Okay. Alright, I'll buy her the green bean cake first, then I can die." I went to the hospital and got some sleeping pills. Late at night, I curled up in bed. Finally, I made up my mind, ready to swallow all the sleeping pills. Just as I was about to put them in my mouth, there was a perfunctory knock on my door. Then the door opened, and Alara peeked in. Her tone was a bit awkward. "What are you doing?" She saw the pills in my hand. "What is that?" I paused, Candy. Hearing that, she immediately stopped being awkward and glared at me. "How could you? I'm starving, and you're hogging all the treats. Give me some." She held out her hand, as if it were her right. I secretly hid the pills. "These won't fill you up. I'll make you some noodles." "That works too. Just give me 2 pieces of candy to tide me over. These are mint-flavored." Hearing that, Alara immediately withdrew her hand. She hated anything mint-flavored. "Never mind then. Hurry up and make the noodles." Seeming to think she was bossing me around too much, she gave a sweet smile. "We'll have a midnight snack together." I thought I'll make her the midnight snack, then I can die. The next day, she invited me to go shopping with her. I knew she just needed someone to carry her bags. On the way back, we were kidnapped. Alara was terrified, trembling behind me. I knew the kidnappers were only after money and wouldn't harm us. So, when they made their demands, we cooperated obediently. The days we were held in that dark room were the first time she and I had such close contact. She relied on me wholeheartedly, only able to sleep when she was leaning against me. Even in her sleep, she would suddenly wake up to confirm my presence. I even cynically wished those days could last a little longer. After we were rescued, she was completely different, no longer bossing me around. She became incredibly insecure, taking me everywhere she went. If I disappeared from her sight, she would bombard me with calls and texts. Sometimes she would have insomnia and ask me to come to her room, then fall asleep holding my arm. And in that suffocating reliance, I felt the warmth of being needed. She occupied my entire mind. I didn't know how to express my feelings. I could only pretend to be aloof, then meticulously complete every task she assigned me. As I was preparing to confess my feelings to her, I overheard her conversation with a friend. "That jock from class 2 has been chasing you so hard lately. Don't you feel anything for him?" Alara's tone was a bit dismissive. "Ugh, he's too eager. I don't like guys who confess their feelings so overtly, who are all fiery and enthusiastic. It makes his affection feel cheap." "Then what kind of guy do you like?" Alara thought for a moment. "Not too clingy, preferably a bit cold in personality, good grades, handsome. I can't think of anything else." My heart slowly turned cold. Yes, even though she clung to me, it was nothing more than a physiological reaction to emotional trauma. To her, I was just a sedative, a comforting presence. If I confessed my feelings directly, it would seem cheap to her, and then I might be kicked out of her world. In our senior year, my father became addicted to gambling. He lost all the compensation money. His salary wasn't enough for him to spend, so he told me to steal things from the Sterling family. Just steal 2 things they won't notice. I refused. He then found some thugs to corner me. When I opened my eyes again, I saw Alara sitting by the hospital bed. "You're awake?" My voice was hoarse. "Did you save me?" She nodded casually. "I happened to be passing by and called an ambulance for you. Have you offended anyone recently?" I shook my head. "No, I can handle it." Alara thought for a moment. "If you can't handle it, you can tell my dad. After all, your family did a favor for ours." Unfortunately, the one who wanted me dead was the one who had done a favor for the Sterling family. I completely cut off contact with that man. The next message I received was from the police, informing me that he had drunk too much and died at home. After high school graduation, Ilara asked me which college I wanted to apply to. I asked her, what about you? I'll apply to a local one. I don't want to be too far from home. Then, she commanded me, I don't care. You're not allowed to be too far from me. At the very least, you have to stay in the same city as me. Of course, I would apply to the same school as her. What if some other dog who was easier to boss around appeared in the lady's life, and she forgot about me? I would never allow anyone to serve the lady better than me.